Arisa.
Hey, Eva. Hey, everyone.
How is
I hope
everyone
everyone
doing?
is doing fine. Let's see. Oh, I see that 12 people are already like standby
Oh my
and
God, that's a
watching.
lot
From
for
the
being just
beginning,
a
from the
start.
beginning.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. I hope everyone is doing well. And feel free to write down like where you are watching the streaming because, yeah, I want to know like where everyone is,
Yeah,
like
the
having
time
a coffee
zone's
chat with
really
us
important.
or
Yeah,
maybe breakfast coffee time could be.
exactly. Which kind of coffee you are taking? The
Yeah.
afternoon break, the
Or it
morning
doesn't
break,
have to be always coffee.
the
Like I
night
have to.
break. Imagine the Italian takes coffee at the
Yeah.
night. You know it? That's crazy. I
Really?
can understand that. Yeah,
What?
like at 9 p.m. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? You cannot go to bed.
I think they are tolerant. I mean, I will be the whole night doing like this, but for them are okay. Yeah.
That's interesting to know. Yeah. Well, we are missing Josephine today, but it is
Yeah,
because she's on vacation. So
exactly.
she's
She's
off for
enjoying.
a good reason. Yeah, we're gonna miss her, but yeah, she's off for the good reason. So don't worry about it, everyone. And instead, we actually have a very interesting guest here.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna really love like her talk skill, in my opinion, because she's never gonna run out what to talk.
Yes, she's full of energy, we can say.
Yeah, full of energy. Yeah. Okay, I guess. Oh, now it's 14.
Oh, from
I
London.
think now it's, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone is
Nice
coming from London.
one. Yeah,
Naomi.
yeah.
Naomi.
Cool. I guess it's like an hour behind from the Central European time zone.
Yeah,
So probably could be like
3 o'clock.
3 all night. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Thanks for bringing your lunch coffee. Okay, so as I already teased everyone, but we shouldn't forget about the proper intro. So
Yeah.
for people who join and like watching this streaming for the first time, yeah, this is the GirlCode Coffee Chat. So all of us are ambassadors from GirlCode, and
Not
GirlCode
me.
is an not yet, soon to be. But I believe like James from GirlCode is aware that you're already like doing an ambassador work.
Seems like
So
it, yeah.
yeah, you just need to talk to him. Anyway, so yeah, that's how we have the connection in between Girl Code and us. So yeah, I mean, like Girl Code is an organization based in UK to empower women and non-binary people to join the tech, regardless of just to become a developer or finding a job. I mean, simply to join the tech community. So yeah, that's what I like the concept and join as an ambassador, and I believe Alba will soon join. Yeah,
Totally.
and usually like we host this live streaming monthly, like around the end of the month, around 25th, 26th, 27th, and then like all three of us are gathering to like bring up interesting topics in the tech world. Sometimes we talk about like technical stuffs. Sometimes we talk about more
Soft
work-life
skills.
balance also, or yeah, helping the other skills, soft skills, or things like that. So it's not just about let's say how to base like tech 100% tech streaming. So that's why we wanted to name this streaming like as coffee chat, so that everyone can like chill and watch while they're having a break, or in the afternoon to recover their like focus energy.
Exactly, exactly.
So
To relax,
yeah,
just enjoy.
yeah. Yeah, so feel free to like watch with like any comfortable environment, and bring you with any drinks and some snacks with you. So I shouldn't stretch out this intro into any longer. I explained pretty much enough, so no more waiting. Let's invite today's guest with us. I always wanted to have a drum roll, like while
Yeah.
we wait. Oh, you're good at it. I hope she is
And
coming
yeah.
up in a minute or so. Maybe she is getting ready behind the stage.
And she's here.
Yes,
Welcome,
there you
Alexa.
are. Welcome, Alexa.
Hey girls, thanks for the introduction. Hi everybody too. Um,
Hi, everyone. Hi, Alexa. And as I wanted to know more about you, and same as for the audience, we want you to introduce yourself if you don't mind.
okay, so I'm Alexandra Spalato. I'm French. I'm half Spanish. I live in Spain. I just moved from Mallorca to Madrid last month. And I'm developer relation with you girls at Storyblok since 1 year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before that, I did many things. And that's what we are going to talk about, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because we didn't present
Cool.
the topic. That's a good one, Alexa. Yeah, the plan today is talk about our journeys to DevRel because the three of us has a different background. We didn't make the same things, but we end up having the same role in the same company. So it's kind of interesting all the backgrounds that we can have and what you can do in order to become a DevRel. So yeah, for that we invite the best one, Alexa, that she will explain, yeah, her trajectory. And also Arisa has a really cool background that she never talks about. So yeah.
Or winding road. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for explaining what's the topics for today's live streaming, Alba. I'm not good at, let's say, like sticking into organizing things or doing the MC.
Don't worry.
Usually,
This is
yeah,
a coffee
usually
chat. We don't
Josefine
need
is,
to.
yeah. All right. So I think people are impatient to hear about what kind of interesting journey, first of all, our guest Alexa has. So I want to start asking you, Alexa, to more give us in details of what you did before you became DevRel.
It's a long story because I did many things even before becoming a developer. I didn't know exactly where my life was going as I studied pharmacy, but I was really not passionate about it. And then I did a business school. I was not passionate about it neither. And I left everything and I went to Paris. I wanted to be an actress. So I attended a drama school for several years. So it didn't really work. So I had the Parisian bohemian life. And I did many different works, mostly commercial because I like to talk. So I'm better at talking to people and interacting that a practical thing, let's say. And even my pharmacy career, it was really not something I enjoyed. So up and downs and things until one day I met the web. It was really, yes, it's a word. I met it because nothing was appealing me there before. I just had a roommate that was doing website. He was a photographer and he was doing website. It was in 2002, and I say, oh, you work from home, you have learned yourself, and I love learning. Okay, and you earn your life like that, so, and it's creative, so okay, I can learn too. But I was not thinking about code because code was something I'm not a math person. I really not the typical dev person who like puzzles, who do math, etc. No. I even don't drink coffee, so coffee turns me crazy. I have too much energy, so it makes me jittering. It's not good. So I begin to look, but it was 20 years ago, and I just look at Dreamweaver in visual. I was not thinking about coding, but I love the creative aspect of that because I'm a creative. Then this went to sleep until in 2011. I was assistant at public relation for a family friend, etc. And say, oh, do you want me to do your website? Because she didn't have a website. And I do the website with Wix. And it was Wix in Flash at this time. And but again, I really loved the creative process. And after that, I found WordPress, and I found the WordPress theme. Again, I was not coding. I was just founding this creative world, and I was crazy about it. I was loving it because building things and 6 months later, I was making a living with that. I was working with an agency, just implementing themes. And then I get quickly bored. So I wanted to modify things. So yes, CSS came in the game, and I was so happy, I remember in 2012, because I put a logo on a WordPress theme in the middle. And I was, wow, I did it. And after that, okay, I get bored again, and I wanted to build my own WordPress theme. So welcome PHP and more coding. And then I became freelancer, and I entered in Codable, which is a platform for WordPress expert, etc. And things were going really well until I get bored again. And then it was 2000. Yes, my career is guided by boredom, so it's that's a thing. And so in 2018, then I attended a JavaScript full stack bootcamp in Barcelona. And after that I really dived into React and in headless WordPress. So I began to do a lot of things with that, especially with Gatsby. I also created a product where it was themes with the front in Gatsby and the back office in WordPress. It still exists, Gatsby WB themes, but don't buy it because I don't maintain it anymore. I have to put this on. I loved to create something. I have loved the experience, and it bring me a lot of things. And again, it's always not only the boredom that drives me, but also the creativity. And I continue freelancing until my path was going to build an agency, but it's not really my thing, because finally what I love is learning, creating, and communicating. And I was already speaking at some conferences, and I've been proposed to be a DevRel in 2020. But I didn't want to work for a company, and I didn't know what it was. I was thinking it was only writing documentation. I'm sure a lot of people, perhaps people listening to us, don't know what is DevRel, because I didn't know what it was before doing it, because it's so broad and it can be so different depending on the company and on the person and how you drive it. And so I say no. And so 1 year ago, I decided, yes, I have to do something else. And it was just 10 years I was freelancing. And then, yes, it was Debbie O'Brien that we all know.
Yeah.
In Mallorca, like me. And we met and said, oh, you should apply at Storyblok, and I know them, etc. And this same evening, I applied at Storyblok, and 3 weeks after I had an offer, and everything begins, and that's it. And I'm super happy. And then I discover what is really to be a DevRel, and I've been traveling a lot this year, and I realized that finally this is like unifying a lot of my facets, because I'm on stage. I wanted to be an actress. I'm a communicator. I like to meet people. I like to program. I like to create. I like to learn new things. And it seems like a full pack of all my sides, so it cannot be better. It cannot be better position for me. So that's the whole story.
No, actually, you summarized it perfectly. I think you went into your life, and I was still watching, I didn't lose the focus, because I'm kind of distracted always. So it's nice. How do you explain it? Because I keep the whole time. No, but it's interesting what you said, that people usually, when they start with thinking about being a DevRel, they think that is not what they are looking for, and they say no in the beginning, because it's funny that we are always communicating, but we don't communicate what our role is about. Because no one understands properly the role of a DevRel. In any company, of course, they can change the schemas and the limits of a DevRel. They can define a different DevRel, of course, is different between products. But usually we have more tasks than just talking in conference. We have more tasks than just writing documentation. We have also open source projects or things that we can code. So it's not, I will quit coding. No, you will still coding if you want to. because you also decide which kind of task you want. So yeah, it's important that, and yeah, I think that's a common thing between us, I guess, because when I start developing, I didn't want to left code. So when they asked me to be a DevRel, I said no in the beginning because I wasn't sure I wanted to leave code behind. And then I realized I didn't left code behind. I'm still coding. So yeah, it's just
Yes,
a big lie we say to ourselves.
and yes, one thing I really love and that I realize it's a very creative and free position because we choose a lot of things that we do. It's not a task after another. And for me, that was super important because I was freelancing all my life. And yes, that's really, really great. And by the way, I saw there is a video from Jason Langsdorff that appeared on Twitter lastly that defines things very well, and also how to, when you apply as DevRel, asking the right question, because depending on the company, the position can be different. And so if you are a speaker and apply to be a speaker in a company where they need somebody who only is writing documentation, it would be wrong. And so I really love this video because it's not easy to explain what you are doing, and it's
Yeah.
very diverse even in our day-to-day. That's something I love because it's never boring. We are not doing the same thing every day and all the time, and that's really, really great.
Yeah,
Actually, we
and
have in the
also
chat a Kisu saying it is DevRel or DevRel because I was supposed to be a DevRel by Devi too. So that's funny. It's like Devi is
Mother
making
of
everyone a
DevRels.
DevRel.
yeah.
He's a mother of DevRels. Every time I meet DevRels, oh, you know Debbie? Yes, I know Debbie. Yes, thanks to her.
She's our Pachamama, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but just because people has the, let's say, DevRel titles doesn't mean that the rest of the people are not doing the DevRel thing, in my opinion. For example, good example is Alba here. I see that in the comment, like now Alba is not giving away her role for anywhere else, but she's been already doing like DevRel, let's say, like activities, in my opinion. She was super committed into the community, and I mean, she already like had the experience a lot with the open source as well, if I'm correct, right, Alba?
Yeah, well,
So
writing documentation, but yes, because it's like I don't feel like I'm open source maintainer because I did packages, but just for me, so they are not used by anyone else. I think probably they fork it, but they didn't tell me. But yeah, I was creating content in Spanish for some documentation for frameworks I was using because I felt the gap that they always think about English, but what about us? Spanish people sometimes, yeah, need Spanish.
yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
true.
I
So
started before the role, but it's true that I was not sure that I was doing that. So I didn't think that the role was something I was already doing. I thought it was content creation, something that you made in your free time, something that is not making you take money, so something that you made for free. So I was misconcepting all this stuff. Yeah, I didn't thought that the role was actually a role. I was thinking that the role was more selling a product or promoting every time that you talk about it, like making ads, something like that. But it ended up
yeah,
that we do the opposite. We try to don't sell it, to actually explain users how to use it. And yeah, I think nowadays I can see more devs doing that. But in the past, I feel like all devs were marketing like
mm,
there was a huge hand from marketing team saying, no, say this in this way so we sell more. But now I feel the opposite.
probably,
I think we take
yeah,
the lead, the developers, and we decide how to
yeah.
explain things to don't be
Maybe
selling.
like around that time I was still exploring like what are like the DevRels, thing. So maybe before I even come up with this term DevRel, developer relations, people were like wondering how to label this, how we can, let's say, like reach out to these type of the users, developers. So I think it was really experimental time, because I was also like not aware of like the things I was doing before joining as a DevRel, or actually like DevRel thing. So I mean, like I didn't actually have had much of like speaking experiences before join. I had a few, yes, but I was more of like just doing, like by myself, and then like for whoever, like out there would benefit the info that I'm like writing like what I experimented, what I got the glitch from when I tested out XYZ and stuff like that. So I just was naturally doing it. And depending on like where you belong, like in the beginning, like the early career as a developer for me, like I was quite being active, like in Japanese tech community over there. And it's a bit different world in my opinion, because like rather than having, like huge conferences, like that people travel extra to see each other and then make a fancy presentations and then have some meals together, socializing. Rather than that, like I see more of like online and then, like people casually gather and then like study together, and you just do like whatever you want to do at the same time, like in the same place. And then like people feel much more comfortable like in this smaller scale, and then sometimes they put up, the opportunity for people to do the lightning talk, but not like really huge, let's say like conference talks, things like that. So coming from this kind of background, for me the community activities and join and do some, let's say like active work in there was quite natural. And I believe like it's quite natural for like a lot of, let's say like people in there, in Japan, if I'm correct, but I could be wrong. But from what I saw the others, that's what I also felt like. So it's not just, like whatever like you're doing is not the DevRel just because you're not titled to do the DevRel work, but it could be that whatever you do is actually already like DevRel things. It's not like about the marketing, like how it used to be, like Alba was saying before. I mean, the terminology started to be defined better, isn't it? So I think, yeah.
Yeah,
But
actually, we
Mm.
have some comments in the chats that I think we need to clarify because I think they
Mm.
misconcept some things. Because I see that Kishu is telling Mota that relations engineer, advocate, DevRel, and evangelist is the same, and it's not the same. I think there is a misconfusion in online because I saw it a lot of times. Advocate and evangelist can be the same because evangelist is just a person that talks about something that they really like, and they probably make articles or not, but they just push people to try it out because they like it and they just propagate the word. Then the advocate will be the person that actually works in a company and they actually create content to teach others on how to use the tool. But then we have DevRel. DevRel, if you
Yeah.
have a product company, you also need to talk with clients and prospects. So you need to explain how the tool is used also in an enterprise level plan. And also you have to talk with partners to teach other developers on how to create proper projects and define the structure of the space if they need a specific environment, things like that. You need to explain how to do it. So it's completely different because that part is not from advocates. The advocates are just spreading the word in the community, but not with the business team, you know? So we work closely to the partner and business team too, and is different. And relations engineer is more focused on the business than actually educating developers. So it's like everything is different, but it seems similar because we just
Yeah.
uh, be exposed
very
in the
close.
conference. So we end up all giving talks in a conference, and it seems like we are doing the same thing. But all the things we did in the background that you don't see because it's not public available, yeah,
Yeah,
confuse
that's
people,
true.
I
It's
will say.
hidden.
Developer
Yeah.
Yeah.
experience too, that is also very close, but it's more technical. It's all that, and Debbie, she's a project manager, but she's also doing something close. And we have a friend, Paul Scanlon, that was at Gatsby. Now it's evidence engineer. So it's there is many terms around that are cousins, that are close, and but there is little difference between each role. It's
Exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Well, I hope Kisu didn't feel like uncomfortable. We just wanted to clarify and add the information. So please stay. Just wanted to say.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. The name that you give to the role needs to match the expectation that you have, isn't it? And when I joined Storyblok and they told me to be a dev role, I thought about developer advocate and I thought wrong. because I didn't thought about the demos I need to do to clients. I didn't thought about the partner stuff. I thought only about going to conference and writing articles, but that's not what is my role. But in the beginning, I thought it was advocate, but no, if it's developer relation, check properly with the company in the interviews, because probably you are missing a part that you didn't know about. And of course, we are talking about products that are selling like with plans or money involved, because if you are making a product that is open source and probably free for the end user, probably you don't have this kind of role because you don't need it. You have just developer advocate to teach others on how to use the tool, isn't it? So it depends on the product too. Yeah, it's we can talk the whole day
Yeah,
about all
I
the
guess
stuff we do. Yeah.
And
I guess the best is like we create the diagram to place it out, like where we are at, and then what are the differences. I'm a
And I
visual
was
learner.
trying to do different things inside Storyblok because we have also I love this because at the moment we choose tasks and vote them and then choose what we are going to do and bring ideas. For example, I'm building a blog template for the community, but it's an idea I bring because I've done it before and I love it. And Arisa is doing other things and Alba too. And we are all DevRel, but there is some flexibility and choice depending on what we are good at and what we like to do and the ideas we can bring, and that's why it's super creative.
Yeah, exactly. In
Yeah,
Storyblok, we decided just 6 months ago or so to divide the team in a specific section so we can focus on something, because otherwise everyone was doing everything and we don't focus on something in a week. So, for example, I'm working in the community team. So I'm more involved in the Discord channel, in the server. I'm involved in the ambassador program, in the live streams, things that are more community related, and the open source projects for sure. And I think both of you are in the solutions team, isn't it?
yeah,
Yes.
we both are in a solutions team, but it doesn't mean that we only stick to, let's say, what we are split it into like smaller squads. I also do some community related tasks as well, and Alexa also does the same. And there is also like one another like third team called documentation and learning team. But I also do some documentation tasks as well, and all of us in here are doing it. But mainly, let's say, like the majority amount of the tasks that we will be divided are going to be based on these smaller scale of the teams. But yeah, before having these kind of divisions, it was a bit harder, and we had we were missing, let's say, like where we should focus on, where we should assign, like specific team members to do what. So yeah, but it's true. I mean, like it doesn't mean all of like our DevRel team members are doing the same stuff, but some we have like the similarities or do work like together with some common tasks as well.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I actually,
Actually,
yeah.
this live stream is one of them. So we are
Oh yeah,
collaborating,
true.
but we are
Yeah.
from different teams. So yeah, that's cool. And actually, we have a question also from Mota. Well, we have a couple of questions, so let's focus first in the first one and then the others. But yeah, the idea is that she asked, are there roles present in the sprint planning? No, we
No.
are not present there. So basically, if they finish the sprint and they have some things that are in the chain log and people outside the company can see it, then is when we are actively creating documentation about it and checking. Buenas desde Sevilla. Okay,
Hola, hola,
from
Selena.
Spain. Okay, nice. But yeah, the idea is that we are not aware of everything. We can be aware if we want. We can talk with the product team, but we are not managers, so we don't know what they decide. They decide their own stuff, and when they launch it, we need to learn about the feature, write down articles, do talks, or maybe record videos explaining the feature. So all the stuff that is more teach users on that specific feature is what we do, but we don't plan the sprints with them. Actually, no.
Yeah, if I want to add a few things, like, I mean, like, I've been a while, like, doing DevRel. I mean, like, not so long,
Yeah,
but
you are the veteran
um,
here. That's true.
Yes.
I don't want to go here like this. But anyway, it used to be that we tried out this way, having a few sprints. but yeah, like we actually agreed on like some tasks it works, some tasks it doesn't work. So that's why like we came up with the conclusion after a few experiments without going with the sprints. So yeah, but it doesn't mean that we don't set the deadlines or the goals. We definitely need to set all of these, and we'll work on
Monitor.
like yeah as soon as possible. But setting the priority to see like the more, let's say, like efficient way of working it, because if you spend lots of time for low priority task, you can guess what's going to happen. So it also involves the community, so means that we want to avoid making our users waiting for us being the blocker. So yeah, that's what we actually try to do instead of going for the sprint plannings.
Yeah, has sense. And
Yeah.
actually, we have one question for Alexandra.
Yes,
Uh,
hard question.
so he or she, Amy, probably she, uh, is saying that from your experience, can you kindly define DevRel in a very clear sentence? I mean, this is a exam.
Uh,
You need to
as,
pass it with a 10.
as you have seen, it's very vast, so it's very difficult to define it in one sentence because it can be very, very diverse. So I would say that, okay, we are in relation with developer, and so we are the bridge between developers and the company. So for the developers, we can be the image of the company and communicating what the product where we work at. It's already not a clear sentence, but well, I tried. And to define what we do and to help developers and answer the question, write articles, and also give the feedback from the community to the company. So that's where the interface between the company and the developers. And in the other side, as developer relation, we also have this role to make the technical demo, which is not on the developer side, but it can be developer side also if there is developers in the people present in the company. So I think that's what I can say. But I can see a pattern also between us and what we have said. It's we all were doing DevRel without knowing it. So the next question
Yeah.
is, are we born DevRel? Do you born DevRel, or do you become DevRel? That's the real question.
Yeah, I think your path takes you to DevRel without you knowing it. It's
Yes.
like there is
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a magnet that is calling you and you are reaching it
Yeah,
till
yeah.
you,
know it.
Sci-fi elements. I like that. Calling you to be a DevRel magnet. Like it.
I love that. Yes, kind of. I am I spell bad in English.
Yeah, that's a problem for me too.
Extrovert. Well, yeah, I'm the one. No, I'm the.
No. Which one it is? Like the name of the personality without the letters.
Me, I am the
Okay.
campaigner.
Campaigner. Okay. So campaigner. So it's ENFP.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, I love this test. It always works. But we did it on our first retreat, and we all had to
Yeah,
do it.
actually, I'm advocate. So it's like, what?
Yes, in our research, we remember there was a lot of advocates. So
Yeah. But I mean, this kind of result will change time to time, because
Yeah, if you change
there
it.
was like, there was a friend like told me like he already like took this, like example, and then like 1 year later the result changed. So it's gonna change time to time. So
I
for
was
now,
close
I'm an advocate too, but
I was close to debater. That was the only parameter that can be limited. I was between debate, but yes, campaigner is more me. It's totally me.
yeah.
And then,
I wanted
following with the questions without we miss that one. Mota asked again another question this time. If are you hiring people to your companies from the dev community? Actually, we were. I mean, I was part of the ambassador program before they contract me. And Arisa was also in a community in Front End Foxes. And actually, she asked
I am.
about a company role because she was looking for a job. And I sent her a Storyblok because as I see the description of her, it's like, you are matching with this company. Probably you can get there. So she was also from the community. And Alexa told with Debbie O'Brien. So everyone was from the community actually in the DevRel team. I don't think none of us had a past without being in the community and actively in the community. I mean, so I think all
You
of
mean
us
like in our
in
DevRel
our
team, right?
team, yeah,
Yeah, DevRel team especially, like I see strong elements that we have somehow like based on the community. Like the first moment we found out the opportunities. But to answer this question, like are you now hiring people to your companies from dev community? Um, I would say like probably not as much as before, like active, but we are always like constantly looking for like the great talent. So yeah, I mean like if you know someone or you feel that you're gonna be a great candidate, then yeah, we definitely like wanna have a look at what the skill sets you can bring us on. And yeah, as I can see, there's already the link where you can have a look at the open job positions. But if you
So
don't find, I think you also could kind of put yourself into an open pool. I need to see that again, but there
yeah,
was
the
a
talent
system.
pool. There was
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
you
Yeah.
apply as ambassador too, because if DevRel position opens at Storyblok, I think they would search in the ambassadors first. So
Exactly. So if you are active in the community, in the Storyblok community, of course we will call you sometime. So yeah, the idea is that you can start doing the stuff and then we can maybe pay you for the stuff you do. Because for example, we have the writer program. So you can actually create an article and we can pay you for that article. So you can start doing small things till you get there, isn't it? That's
yeah.
possible.
And Alba knows a lot about the
Yeah.
ambassador program because she belongs in community channel. Sorry, the team. So if you have questions, you can write down in here. And we also used to have, or we hosted one of the previous, streamings about the ambassador program.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
if you're interested in, you can go to the Storyblok's YouTube. I can also quickly find out the link. But from the Storyblok YouTube, then you can find the ambassador program in details. So yeah. Actually, that's a good entry point. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
of
don't see
course.
much of like similar programs, let's say like open to like I don't know, like some tools or
Yeah, it
softwares that I'm interested
depends.
in to use. It depends. Yeah, they
Yeah,
name it differently sometimes,
I
or
think
they don't
that
have.
startup companies or projects like Hello CMS, for example,
Mm,
I see that they have a
mm,
community, but I guess that they don't have the budget to spend time on creating an ambassador program and things like that. And they just made it
mm,
organically. Like if someone is active, they just talk with them or something like that. But there is no like a role they give you, you know? So I guess that when the
mm.
companies gets mature, they have budget and of course time to make also this kind of community programs more prepared and with more guidelines and perks and things like that. Because of course, for example, I'm also part of the ambassador program in Next, but I'm not that active, if I'm honest. I feel bad.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, it depends. I mean, for example, in the Google Developers Per program, it's quite easy to get things done because are related to web. So it's like if I work on something, I
Yeah.
just post that I work in this and they can see it as a task I did for the program. But for Next, I need to work on something with Next, you know? So it's like really specific. If
Mm,
I don't have the time, so yeah, it's complicated.
yeah. It
well,
depends. It depends.
one thing also Deborah, I want to bring, because I didn't know that, and about speaking at conference. When you are speaker at conference, you are not forced to speak about the product, because if
Hmm.
not, it becomes not DevRel but DevCell. I think our friend Paige created this concept of DevCell. And so and my first talk when I was at Storyblok last year was too much Storyblok. So I changed it, and now I talk about other things, not of about Remix, because I love this framework. But I build something with Storyblok that I can give to the audience, so they can use it and see how it works. But in tech talks, they like things really into code for developers. So we are a SaaS, and we cannot do something totally selling the project, and we had many discussions about that. So the talks are very open, and as soon as we are talking, we are representing the company, so it's good for the company anyway. So that's something that is a little
Yeah.
bit hard
I
to
totally
explain.
agree with you because at the beginning, when I was doing talks, I was always talking about the product a lot, but I was not part of the company. So it didn't feel bad because you are not getting paid for
Yes,
that. So people don't see you like selling. But when you join, whew,
That's
it's
another
difficult,
story.
I
Yeah.
will say. Exactly. And what I felt is like each time I give a talk about other topic, maybe architecture that I like a lot, they see me differently. And they actually start using Storyblok because they are curious because I just saw a sneak peek at the end, like, this is Storyblok. And I suddenly close it. So they want to try it out because it's like, what's it? I want to know more. But if I spend the
Yeah.
whole talk about it, it's like, okay, this
and then
girl is selling me
Yeah.
again.
yes, and my last talk, I was talking about hydrogen for Shopify. So some people were thinking I work at Shopify. So no, I work at Storyblok. So
Yeah, I
yes.
think to have the good understanding of like how far, which level, like the audience and the users have the understanding of the content we're gonna talk. So I mean, like in the beginning, when probably like a very few users only knew about Storyblok, then that was actually the right time to talk about the product itself, because otherwise, without being known, then you don't have a chance to be, like used in many products or things like that. So I think if you wanna start promoting about, not promoting, but start letting community know like there's a new technology out there. So if you want people to try out for the first time, then maybe that's still a right approach. Because if you already jumped over to like the advanced content to give a talk or to like show about the product which are never used in somewhere like else in the world, then people might feel like okay, I don't know what he or she is talking about. So I think you need to know like if it's still like interface, or did you already like share enough information about the product where you're working at, so the audience actually like have seen you like in many places or not. So depending on that, it also would change too. So I also had the, let's say, common or similar issue what Alexa told us in here, that I actually got the feedback like several times that this is a dev cell talk. So I mean, like in the beginning, I was that I don't get what does it mean, but because I wasn't aware of the knowledge from the community, like how much they reached out. So when I was aware of that, then I totally got what it means, because people don't want to hear about what they already know about it or what they have already seen it. Then you don't want to see or watch the whole like let's say like this product ABC is like 101. So that also has to do with that too. But I just realized now, like we named this live streaming like journeys to become the DevRels, but now we started to more go deeper for like what is the DevRel,
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it's
that's
true.
true.
And there is another question. Have you ever felt imposter syndrome? Yes,
Yeah.
of course, all the time. And I was not there, but I think one of the first girl coffee chat was about imposter syndrome. But especially me, I become late in this industry, so yes, imposter syndrome all the way. And it's I think it's very common in developers anyway, because you cannot know everything, and so you always think, okay, I just know that, but I don't know all that, and I know that. So it's very vast. It's another subject, but
Yeah,
yes.
and also mixing being a developer in front of a lot of people talking about something technical, impostor syndrome here. It's the pyramid. I mean, it's impossible to don't have imposter syndrome if you are in the same conference that Evan Yu, the creator of Vue, and you are giving a talk. It's like how I can feel good if the owner of the framework I talk about is here talking too. Impossible.
Yeah, I think maybe the reason why like a lot of people actually like shares the same feeling or similar feeling that they're constantly in the imposter syndrome is because it's harder to see like how the others are thinking. So if you're blind about, or actually everyone is blind about like what the rest of the people except you are thinking and feeling, then you're gonna feel alone. So I believe like in my opinion that's the cause of like getting the imposter syndrome. But once you start to talk about that, you have this kind of, let's say, like imposter syndrome feeling, then the others actually like might share with you that, oh, I
Help me.
didn't know that you felt in this way. I'm actually feeling imposter syndrome in this area. So I think start to talk about would be like more important about it. Doesn't mean that you need to share everything. If you want to keep it private, then of course, feel free to do that. But by talking it, by knowing, let's say, like the people who are like looked up to also has the imposter syndrome, will help you understand that, oh, okay, it's not just me. So yeah, we all have.
Also, as DevRel, it's not only imposter syndrome about development, but finally there is people who are genius about development, but they are not communicators. And perhaps you are a communicator and you can totally explain a concept that you really understand, but perhaps you will not be a genius inventing things or finding every little bug, etc. So we have all, it's not only development, and as we have a very diverse position, we have all different qualities and we are a mix of things, but we cannot be a genius developer, speaker, writer, and everything. We have all our strengths and weakness, but even knowing that, we still have the imposter syndrome. So that, but yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. And maybe like when you see, let's say, like the people out there, like in public, let's say like places or giving talks, or you see in like lots of video sources, you might think like they actually don't have the imposter syndrome feeling, because of course you want to put the best of you on the screen or like in public places, but it doesn't mean that they don't have such, let's say, feeling. Actually, you might feel in this way, but in fact, like a lot of them shares the same opinion too. So just don't think, let's say, like what you see is the everything about this person. It's actually only the 1% of the best part of this person, in my
Yes.
opinion. Yeah, yeah. I think like we talked a lot about like more what is it about to be the DevRel instead of the journey.
Yeah, actually,
Arisa, you didn't talk about your background.
exactly.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Different, so now you have to, and that's the subject of our coffee chat. So let's the subject, please.
Okay. I'm not a guest today. In fact, I'm the one of the hosts, but if you request quickly, I can share. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I actually wasn't a developer before. In fact, I don't have like any relevant degree to my current work or any front end related degrees at all. I actually like became or started my first career as a cabin attendant. So yeah, I was working in an airline company, not as a developer, but the one like on board in the aircraft, helping people, making sure everyone is safe, stuff like that. So it's completely different, field of the job. But yeah, I wanted to actually like gain something more not the professional. I mean like highly demanded like um expert skills, so that I like I would be needed, let's say, like not just because of like the company needs just the numbers of the people to work whatever random jobs. It doesn't mean that I'm saying like the cabin crew or flight attendant job was the random, like tasks doing it. But I felt like, yeah, the way they employ the employees and the way people were leaving companies, the numbers you hear are not healthy. So I didn't want to, like see me joining every Friday, like over hundreds of, the new members, and then leaving over 200 of the, people in every, like Monday. So yeah, I mean, I left the company and when I was working at the time, but I wanted to, like um, have some values like on my own so that the companies would value my skills more, not just because of filling the numbers of it. So I started to gain the front end development skills like while I was still working as a flight attendant. But yeah, eventually I faced the huge challenge that to fully understand and have the good fundamental knowledge about the JavaScript, I cannot like travel for a few days, coming back, and then like bring up remembering the knowledge I gained before, and starting like finally like after I review everything, things like that. It took me like forever, so I resigned it and went to a boot camp for 2 months and a half. But then like I was already having the beginner, let's say, level of the knowledge, so I focused on for the speeding up to finish the courses or the program I had. Then started already like finding a couple of clients through friends, so that I have like a proof that I worked before. Then you can trust me, on the resume. So that's how I started. So I was self promoting myself with like freelance work, and then like I wanted to actually become a mentor in boot camps. So that's why like I started to work in 3 boot camps in Japan and in like in English, I would say. Front End Fox's School, the organization Alba was saying before, was like one of it, and that's where I met Alba.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
actually,
like so long time
that's
ago.
exactly the
Yeah.
organization where I met the new
Mm-hmm.
frameworks. I started making
Ah, okay,
courses
okay.
with them about Vue,
Mm.
and all my colleagues in the course were women. So it was a really nice
Mm.
initiative, but I think they
Yeah, they
they
had
stopped it.
to close
Mm.
down the community
Yeah,
because the
probably we need to open
organizer
one.
became busy. Maybe, maybe that would be something like
That would be
something we
cute.
could
Like we
talk.
meet there and now
Yeah,
we create one, and that would be cute.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
And
that's
actually,
nice.
you had
Yeah.
also a podcast in Japan, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, like I used to have the podcast in Japanese more, less in English because I wasn't confident about creating content in English at that
Yeah,
time
same.
because I started my like tech career like in Japanese first, so I knew a lot of folks there like in Japanese tech community, so I wasn't sure like if people would be interested in like hearing me like talking stuff in English, but actually like yeah, now it's completely like upside down. I
Yeah.
communicate more and know more people like in, I would say, like English based like communities. Doesn't mean that I like lost the connection in there. In fact, yesterday I was um oh, what did I happen? I guess my laptop started to like behave crazy, but anyway, I hope you didn't see that. It just blacked out anyway. In
Oh,
fact,
really?
yesterday
No,
I
no, no.
was, yeah, I was speaking like in an online event. I
Oh.
mean, actually was from like the Japanese tech community, but yeah, I mean, I still had the connection and there, and then many people were like joining, asking questions, and I felt like yeah, it's always good to like belong in as many as communities. So
Yeah, that's really
yeah,
cool. Maybe one day you can host a Japanese session of the Girl Code Coffee Chat. And probably if
maybe,
an
maybe.
AI can translate, I can read the subtitles while watching you. That would be
Oh,
cool. Yeah.
that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah.
And Arisa, I was thinking, is there a thing from your flight attendant, cabin attendant background that is useful, that is related to DevRel? Is there is something that you have learned there that
Actually,
helps you?
yeah, yeah. Actually, like I see a few elements, not all of them. but I see a few elements that I still can, like use day-to-day life. For example, like, I mean, I give talks in conferences in person, of online. When I need to travel, I know how to deal with. So yeah,
Yes.
I mean, this traveling was like
Yeah, Arisa is
the
always
easiest
with the
part,
small
but
suitcase. She's always wearing the suitcase that I relate with that people. So it's really funny to see her coming to the hotel with that suitcase. So cute.
I know,
So cute.
but not in the uniform. That's the difference, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's harder to just sit in the airplane and do nothing and wait until you land. It's harder. If you move around, it's easier.
Probably you can
So,
help
but
the flight
anyway,
attendants. Like today, I can give the signals myself. Like,
maybe I know what kind of stuff are in which places, but it's a secret, so I don't do. Anyway, the other thing is like communicating with the users. So I mean, like I had way harder, let's say, experience communicating with the passengers in the past. Not all of them are kind. Some of them even, yeah, brought up lots of issues. We had to take some actions.
Mm.
So yeah, I've seen some scenes. So not easy. But after dealing with all these, let's say, like more intense, let's say, like communication with the customers, even included dealing with some medical cases. I don't have that responsibility now. So, and also the way to communicate with the users, like I think I could imagine what kind of feeling they have, or frustrations, or things what they are not sure about it or happy about. So I think it helped me a lot to assume like what our users are thinking or feeling it. And if I'm missing the information, I always try to get more additional info for me to help me understand. So yeah, these two things are really like helping me. But I'm getting old, so I learned that maybe like I have to limit the frequency to travel. So I know the
Okay.
right amount of the travels too. So yeah, but I also want to hear about your background from Alba too. I mean, like,
Yes.
although like before we started, let's say like the streaming, she was even joking us like, I don't
Yeah,
have
I don't have
past.
any background.
But
We want to hear too.
No, actually, I had a normal career. I mean, I made a degree
not
on
like
image
us.
and sound. Well, I mean, yeah, it seems like it's not normal, but for my age, everyone was doing that. So I did it without thinking what I want to see, be or do or whatever. I just say, okay, I'm good at math. People are telling me that I need to go to engineering. Okay, let's see which engineers we have. And I found one that was cute, image and sound in telecommunications. And it's like, okay, this seems weird, but it seems cool because you can record videos. Well, I thought so. Eh, you can work with some kind of video cameras or radio station, things like that. Well, I entered in the degree, and nothing to be with what I said. It was more coding what it was inside the the tools. So if I want to have a camera, I need to program the chip, so that kind of stuff. And I discovered that I had a love for coding because we start with C and C++, and I realized that I was good at algorithm, that without they explaining me anything, I can write a loop or something without knowing what I was doing, and it had sense for me. So I had like something in my brain telling me you have logic for this, you know? So I decided to go that way. And when I was in the last end of the career that you need to choose between practices in agencies or things like that, my career was asking for things in radio stations or sound tests, things that I didn't want to do. So I go to informatics, I get into the list, and someone from an agency that was making webs for clients contracted me as a free user because they were not paying me for 1 year. And then after 1 year, they pay me like 500 a month or something like that. And I was working like anybody else. But okay. Well, the idea is I started working for free in development. And then I realized I was really good doing that, and I get a lot of skills. So I apply to some jobs, and I start changing from product companies to agencies to consultancies till I found what I wanted. That was the agency world. I prefer agencies, if I'm honest. Consultants or agency. And yeah, I start working on my free time on podcasting or video recording, articles. I start just creating content in the community. And then I realized I had like a path to the role without wanting it. Storyblok asked me a couple of times to be part of the company, but I said no. I will keep an ambassador. I will do it in my free time, and that's it. But one day I get burnout because I was working 8 hours in a company full time, giving all my power, and then in the afternoon making podcasts, articles, blogs, and it was like I need to choose. So I choose
The
DevRel, and for
amount is
that,
insane.
no, it was crazy. Yeah.
I mean, like the amount she's still like doing, like all the outputs are really like incredible amount in my opinion. Because like since I became a DevRel means like what I used to do, let's say in my private time, like became my job. So I had to think about, to set the clear borderline of my private life and the work. Otherwise, like I cannot live these two in one. If I do, I know what's gonna happen. So, but still, I mean, like the amount Alba is doing is really like incredible amount too.
Yeah, for that I'm going to a psychologist because I need to stop myself. Like, Alba, no more projects. This month you are
No more
done.
project. Yeah, but I mean, like Alexa is also like has been working on for, let's say, the talk content and the demos that you were using in the talks, I believe. So yeah, I mean, like
So I was and so freelancer. You have sometimes it's very packed, and sometimes you have time. So it's different. I was not working at the company and preparing the talks. I was freelancing.
Okay.
But I was having new things, etc. And yes, so that's really really nice.
Yeah, I really hate to kind of cut the streaming and here, but I just realized we
spent
kind
1
of
hour.
already reached to an hour. Yes. In fact, like we've been like talking 8 minutes more than we plan to finish the streaming. So maybe in the future, like we could have like, I don't know, part 2 or like another like DevRel
Extended
related
version.
streamings to extended version. Yes. I didn't know, like so many questions we were gonna get. So I really want to say a huge thank you to everyone watching like our streaming right now. Thank you so much for asking us lots of very interesting questions too. I hope we covered all. If we were not able to cover all, then you can reach out to us like on our
for sure.
Twitters. You can see like each of our Twitters handle name, username, like in there. Alexa, you don't see, but in the beginning of the streaming, I posted her Twitter. So yeah, you can, like reach out to us and ask. That's not to forget because we want to keep this, like a monthly coffee chat. So we already scheduled for the next streaming. Thank you so much. We have actually like our nice colleague, Kat, behind the scene. She also attended in one of the earliest like past streaming before about the boot camp. She's now helping us doing it. Thank you. So from here, you can sign up, by scanning the QR code for the next streaming. So yeah, I mean, like we're gonna add a couple of, let's say, informations for the content of the streamings too. But if you have any request about like what you would like to see from us, or you would like to, learn from our streaming, then we're very excited to hear from you what you wanna like watch from our streaming. So feel free to I would say like post like on the social media what you want to watch. I would say like that would be like the easiest that we can spot all of us. So yeah. Okay. So is it just me like seeing like how many viewers
No, I'm
like
seeing
scan the
it
QR
too.
code?
That's really cool.
You too,
I
right?
didn't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure like if everyone can see it too, but that's a really nice feature. New things to learn. Okay. Then I would like to probably say like thank you everyone again. Yeah, thank you, Alexa, for joining too.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you,
so
Alba,
much.
as
Welcome.
always. Thank you, Kat, behind the scenes. Yeah, and yeah, have a nice day, everyone, and hope to
Yeah.
see you soon.
Whatever.
Have a nice weekend too. Bye.
Yeah, bye.